Interest rates are probably still gonna go up, but the house prices are probably still gonna go down. So why would you jump into the market right now? Attention first-time home buyers, I have some great tips for you. So why would a first-time home buyer consider purchasing in this market right now? I mean, the interest rates are going up and the prices are going down and we're in a lot of turmoil. So why would jumping in right now be the right choice for them? My very first question with a first-time home buyer is, where are you currently in the market right now? Are you at the first stage or fifth stage? There's lots of stages when you're getting into buying a home. And number one is getting all your documents ready, understanding what your timeline is and when you're ready to jump in. Because we are all at different stages and we all have different goals in mind when jumping into the market. You might be looking for a fixer-upper, a detached home, a condo, a semi, an investment. So we need to establish where you're at, what your goals are, and how fast you want to get in, or how long do you want to wait. Why should a first-time home buyer consider buying in this market when the market is tanking and the interest rates are going up? Well, I'm gonna let you know. First thing I'm gonna bring up about buying in the market right now is obviously opportunity. This is the first time in 2 years we've been able to see houses sit on the market, and you might be able to actually find that perfect property without fighting tooth and nail to get an offer in. And I've been doing real estate for over a decade. You wouldn't believe the properties that are popping on the market right now. Like, they're actually insane. I haven't seen these estates come on the market in my whole career, and we might never see this again because there's a lot of sellers that are trying to capture those peak prices still, and they would have never considered selling unless the market was in a downturn, which it is. So more opportunity, more unique properties, and maybe that perfect property in your perfect neighborhood, which I'm gonna touch on in a minute here. There's tons of opportunity in the market right now, but I wanna tell you my favorite reason why first-time homebuyers should seriously consider purchasing right now. For the last 2 years, during the peak of the pandemic, obviously we all know, it was multiple offers, it was chaos, it was just a nightmare. And for me, I found my conversation changing daily. But the one thing that I had to start telling my first-time homebuyers was maybe consider not looking for a detached home for their first purchase. You know, our market was turning into Toronto in a sense that owning a detached home was a privilege, and probably only the top 5% income earners could afford a detached home within the city. And my conversation with first-time homebuyers was changing really quickly. Their goal was to own a detached home if this was their desire in the London market, but looking at the prices and their budgets, it was becoming impossible. And we had to start shifting them towards townhouses and condos. So for me, being able to help a first-time homebuyer get into a detached home, if that's their desire right now, is huge, because that was not available, and that could quickly not be available again if the tides turned. For me, buying my first property was a detached home with a garage. It just made sense for me. I lived out in the outskirts, and I never even knew about townhouses or condos. It just wasn't in my goal to purchase my first home there. Now that the market has subsided, the prices have dropped. Those budgets that were really challenging to get them into the detached homes are now available. You know, for first-time home buyers, I had a budget of $400,000. Looking within the city limits, it was almost impossible, honestly, to get them into a nice home. And those properties we did get them in maybe weren't that nice. Like, they needed everything. So now that I'm seeing so much inventory on the market, there's detached homes sitting all over the city within very healthy budgets for a first-time home buyer. I mean, $400,000, you're in the door. And I know you don't believe me right now, but if you look on the inventory on MLS right now, you're gonna see a ton of them sitting there right now. So that's one of my favorite things about the market right now, is that that tide has kind of shifted, and we're getting those first-time home buyers that are desiring those detached homes into detached homes. Now, the second thing that I love about this market is the fact that most home buyers that come to me, they have a list of certain neighborhoods that they want to break into. And for the last 2 years, again, it was almost impossible to get them in there with those price points. Those desired neighborhoods were bought up, sold off market, gone before you could even get in the door. I mean, it was just heartbreaking for anybody trying to get into those certain areas. But now the inventory is stacking up on one another. There are buying opportunities like crazy. So maybe you're scared to get off the fence because you know the interest rates are going up and the prices are dropping, but the higher the interest rates go, the less borrowing power you're going to have. The higher the stress test you're gonna have to qualify for. There might be that perfect hidden gem within that desirable neighborhood that was in your top 5, and that might be the first time and only time you're able to secure it in the next 5 years. If anyone says they know what the market's gonna do, they're lying. There is no crystal ball here. I mean, but looking at what we're forecasted going into it, I mean, if you're ready to get off the fence, if the numbers make sense, if the budget is healthy and you have lots of wiggle room to adjust for rising interest rates, then what are you waiting for? If that dream property comes up in your budget where it actually wouldn't have been even attainable in the last 2 years, it makes sense, then I don't see the problem than jumping in. You know, waiting till it bottoms out is just trying to time the real estate market. It's just like trying to time the stock market. It's never going to work. And I understand it's a little scary right now. I get it. If you're at home right now and you don't see yourself living in that basement for the next 5 years or 3 years, even 1 year, or if you're paying someone else's rent right now, which rent is skyrocketing, maybe running the numbers and talking with a local mortgage broker or a local bank and seeing where your position is in the market might be the best choice you make. Because we don't know how long this opportunity is going to last. We don't know if it's going to go on for 3 years. We don't know if it's in the inventory is going to dry up and the prices are going to stay steady and rise again and we're going to be back to bidding wars. It all comes down to the timing that you want for yourself right now and where you see yourself in the next 3 years. You know, another thing I love about the real estate market right now is the fact that you can go in with an offer, potentially under asking, get it accepted with every condition that you like. Home inspection, insurance, financing, septic inspections, water tests, whatever you want, because the sellers need to move that property and you have the upper hand. You're the only offer. You can negotiate. You can actually investigate and find out the health and wealth of this property. I mean, I think this is getting overlooked a lot because everyone's nervous to jump in, but what if that perfect property comes along, it needs a little work and you're worried about the funding and everything along those lines? Just go in there, see what the property needs, budget for it, run the utility bills, know the property taxes, budget out for the next 5 years. If interest rates rising is having you scared, then go in with a fixed rate for the next 5 years. You'll know exactly what your mortgage payment's going to be. You'll know exactly what maintenance needs to be done to the property. If you're gonna do any major improvements, you can budget that out over the next 5 years. So for me, that makes sense. I mean, right now, and then you don't have to even commit. You can give that person that purchase price, negotiate all the terms, run the facts, know your property that you're purchasing, and make a safe and exciting purchase. I mean, last 2 years, we were just buying properties. There was no chance to have a home inspection. And my last point for first-time homebuyers is the fact that just be open-minded. There's so many first-time homebuyers that we meet, we greet, we sit down, we make a plan, and they tell me exactly what they want. And we end up with something completely different. And that's just how it is. That's how the buying journey sometimes ends up. A certain property might pop up when you're ready to purchase that just makes sense, or there's more opportunity to it. There could be a property down the street that the basement is huge and you're never gonna use that space, and that would be a great granny suite and extra income coming in each month. Or what I love is country properties that have old barns out back and you can make it in for extra storage. I mean, you're never going to use them anyways if that wasn't what you were purchasing it for. And these properties can now help pay for your mortgage and you can maybe buy a bigger property. But regardless, just be open-minded when you're going in. You got tons of opportunity, so you don't have to start with a condo if maybe your budget wasn't allowing for a detached now, which is amazing. And maybe you're looking in the city, maybe you want on the outskirts. Just talk with your realtor, let them know kind of what you're looking for, and from there, whatever comes up, it might be the perfect property that you never even imagined you would be ending up in. My last tip of advice for first-time homebuyers is just don't try to time the market. It's one of the biggest mistakes that you're gonna make. It's gonna make you sit on the sidelines for the next 5 years with ups and downs and uncertainty. And if your situation is you could purchase now, you have a healthy budget, just look for the opportunities that present themselves. I think you'd be so surprised at what you end up with.